Hey folks, Bob Desmond here at the Contrarian Trader, and you want to know what the best stock charts for the coming week? We're going to go over them. We're also going to talk about our week last week. It was very good, another good week. We bought back a position in the NUGT after retrading it to the long side yet again. For the second time in the past 2 weeks, we have booked profits on NUGT. And I'll be honest with you, I was called to task by one of our members because he looked at the chart of NUGT daily basis and he says, what are you doing? It doesn't look all that good. And I have very, very smart traders in our forum. And when they leave a message like that, I need to be able to reply with an intelligent reason as to why I added that trade back to our portfolio, because RSI was making lower lows. You had Stokes, which are rolling over down below the 50 level. So what gives, right? I'm going to go to that chart in a moment. But here was the reason why I wanted to buy back in on the NUGT last week after booking profits just the day before. The reason was I believed that the rally in the US dollar was not for real. I thought it was going to fail. And we were proven right at the end. So here's what I had to say in response to our members' inquiry. I believe it was Tom in the forum that wanted to know why I decided to buy back in. And I discussed it on Market Wrap on the 11th. And here's a clip that I'm going to play for you, and we'll talk about how we closed out the week on the euro in a moment. But here you go. The dollar, I guess inflation is good for the dollar now. The dollar had an up day. It did close off the highs of the day, but I'll point this out, is that volume is one of the lightest volume days of the year so far. And yesterday's down volume was very high. So that caused me to go taking a look at the euro. Let's bring up Thinkorswim. And you can see that the euro on a weekly basis has recaptured a support level. The week is not over yet. We're putting in higher lows in RSI, and we are back above a support level that was broken back here in early March. So far, this week, the euro, while down, we're seeing some improvement in the RSI. And in fact, even if we were to have closed out the week today, down on the week, RSI broke out. So we have a bullish divergence on the euro. And anybody who believed that Mario Draghi was going to do anything other than punt is kidding themselves. He's never done anything bullish in his life. And when you connect these upper bands of resistance, or prior tops, I should say, and resistance, you could see that we broke out back here in mid-March. Rallied, pulled back. We're retesting support levels now. I think that we're building a base on the euro from which it'll probably rally out of. We'll see how we close out the week. We'll revisit this commentary in a week or so, a couple of weeks. So while the dollar closed up higher today, I think that we're seeing some strain on the dollar, and yet today was probably a short squeeze, a short covering rally, because it certainly wasn't institutional buying of the UUP. Now, that plays into the nugget trade, right? We have been trading in and out of it recently, and it's not necessarily the way I want to trade it, but the markets have been sending us a signal, and I think what we're doing here is setting up. This is a clean chart, and I want to throw some lines up here. I think that we're forming a trading range from which to break out of. Now, no doubt, RSI is a concern, lower highs. Stokes have rolled over and are down below the 50 level. So it was certainly a leap of faith on my part to go nibbling on NUGT today. So I'll be watching this lower band of support to see whether or not it holds. Because if we break down below the 1814 level, that's a problem for NUGT longs. Because remember what happened on that day, the 4th. We had that bullish engulfing on that day, and what a move that was. All right, so when you fast forward, you can see that obviously I was bearish on the US dollar. The euro, I saw a glimmer of hope in that we were holding support. Remember, Mario Draghi came out. He's the ECB chair. He's the Jerome Powell, our Federal Reserve chairman of Europe, the European Union. And he has been dovish since Pikes Peak was a pimple. All right, he's never going to be bullish. And what always gets me to scratch my head is when people are shocked that Mario Draghi is dovish, and he was dovish yet again. He's not going to raise rates in 2019. This guy's not going to raise rates until 2020, maybe. All right, he's not doing anything. So if you appreciate the fact that you have that knowledge, and you may be saying, where did you get that knowledge from? Where did you get the confidence to be able to trade? It all started with this book right here, Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. You must read this book. If you're new to trading, if you're an experienced trader, you must read it. I continue to read it. I've had this version, this book, for 15 years, and you can see it's yellow paged. I have it dog-eared with notes in it, underlined, highlighted. Look at this. How yellow that is. This is a great book. It's a must-read, and it's my gift to you, a PDF version. I'll link to it above, somewhere up there. A card should pop up, and you can click on that. Also, down in the description area, you could click the link, and that'll take you over to a checkout thing. It'll auto-respond out to you however they have it set up. So, please, get this. Also, please, before we go to the charts, please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like. Leave a comment if you get any value out of this video, please, and I'll do more of them. So let's go back to the euro and how we closed out the week. Remember on the clip I just played you, we were down, and I was pointing out that, look, we're holding support here on the euro on a weekly basis. And we have RSI, which is breaking out on a weekly basis, despite the fact that we're down on the week. Not only that, we are putting in higher lows and higher highs on the euro RSI for months now, while price has been putting in lower highs and lower lows. That is a bullish divergence on the RSI. This is something you cannot ignore. This is what provided me the audacity to ignore the short-term signals that the daily chart was sending me on NUGT and to respect the longer-term signal that the euro was telling me that it was going to rally versus the US dollar. If the dollar pulls back, that means NUGT is going to rally in the longer term. Does that mean that the euro is going to spike higher next week? Maybe, maybe not. But in the coming couple of weeks, it is going to rally. I think it's going to rally versus the US dollar. Gold is going to rip. The gold miners are going to rip. Silver is going to rip. We're already long of them. We're going to buy more of them. Join the 14-day free trial offer. I'll send you out an alert when I add more. Let's go to the charts of our best stock charts for the coming week. And we'll kick things off with Nugget. And we've spoken about it. It'd be rude not to go over the daily chart. So here's the same chart I spoke about on that clip I just played just a moment ago. And you could see that we are bouncing off of a support level. That's bullish stuff. But as I was called to task on, members were seeing that Stokes were rolling over and down below the 50 level. And I preach constantly, don't buy stocks when they're rolling over, in this case an ETF, when they're rolling over. The Stokes are rolling over down below the 50 level because rallies tend to fade. But my concern here is that the euro was going to rally, the dollar was going to drop, and we were going to be left hanging out to dry without having a position in NUGT. Now, we bought back in, not a huge position, but we dipped our toe back in the water. As long as we hold the 1814 level down to the 1771 level, I'm good with the consolidation here, and we'll look to accumulate a position. And I'll be watching these Stokes to see whether or not they begin to hook back up yet again. And we'll do a deep dive onto the weekly charts tomorrow, and we'll discuss how the weekly charts look, as well as the intraday charts with members tomorrow on the weekend commentary. The charts I'm going to go over right now is just really a cursory overview of the stocks that we're going to be discussing tomorrow on the week ahead commentary with members, where I do a deep dive into those symbols. So let's continue. EDC. We spoke about this one last week. I like the weekly setup. It closed at support. We did break down below support on the 11th. We did rally back on Friday, which is good stuff. So we may be opening up a trade on the EDC this coming week. I like the Stokes. I think they're going to hook back up. And you may be saying, Bob, the Stokes are above 80. What are you doing? They're overbought. Stop that. Throw that rule out, okay? You want to take a look at a stock and get long of it when you have Stokes above 80, when they have been pulling back and appear to be setting up for a higher low. That's bullish stuff. I think that the emerging markets are going to rally, especially if the dollar pulls back, folks. Okay, please watch the dollar. And don't forget, read this book, Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. All right, so the next chart up, CGC, Canopy Growth Corp. I haven't spoken about this one in a while, but I'm liking this setup here. You can see that we're putting in higher lows on the Stokes. No breakout yet. Higher lows on RSI, and we have broken out on RSI. That's a good thing. Price, we broke out on Friday. So the chart of CGC is looking good. Is it time to buy? We need to do a little bit more analysis. We'll talk about it tomorrow on the week ahead commentary. Mr. Cooper Group. All right, so this is an extreme oversold stock. I spoke about this symbol on best stock charts going back to March the 30th. In fact, I'll play you a clip of my comments that I made back on the 30th of March. And at that point in time, RSI was at 14. And if you read the textbook for dummies about technical analysis, they'll tell you to buy a stock once RSI goes down below 30. Nothing could be further from the truth. Take a look at what would have happened if you would have used that rule of thumb. We went down below 30 back here. Let's say March the 8th. The low of the day, let's say you got into the low of the day, was $12.84. We closed out the week last week at $8.77. So much for that rule of thumb. All right, so let me play you that clip. This is what I had to say on March the 30th. Cooper Group, COOP, not to be confused with Cooper Tire. All right, so I don't like this chart on a daily basis. I think that we're going to go lower here, despite the fact that we have RSI 14.10. If it rallies, so be it. I won't be a part of it. If we break support, that's great, because this RSI only goes lower, and that's good stuff for us. Now, you can see on this chart here, we have no idea whether his historical support may $9.15 be ideal support, maybe. But again, what we need to do is pull back, take a look at the weekly and monthly charts, and do some detective work. And it's already posted in the watch list in the members areas, if you want to go check it out. The next chart up. Okay, so obviously we broke down below this lower band of support. This was a bear flag, the direct opposite of a bull flag setup. A bull flag setup is a continuation breakout pattern. A bear flag setup is a continuation breakdown pattern. Never to be bought. I don't care if you have RSI 20, 14, as we saw back on the 30th, or RSI 5. I don't care. You don't buy it. You wait for historical support levels to get hit. The question you should be asking right now is, are we at historical support? We'll be discussing that with members tomorrow on the week ahead commentary. Sign up for the 14-day free trial offer. You'll get it. You'll watch it. We'll talk more. I'm loving the ultimate oscillator here. Despite the fact that we have broken down to new lower lows on price, ultimate oscillator is flashing a bullish divergence, right? We broke out back here on the second. Look at this divergence. We've broken down dramatically. Yet, ultimate oscillator is holding the breakout. We're ripping higher fairly soon on Mr. Cooper. Loving the Stokes here. They're like a coiled spring. RSI is still, quote-unquote, oversold, 17.56. What's more important here, folks, is that we're putting in higher lows and higher highs. That's good stuff. Despite the fact we're getting lower highs and lower lows on price. Good stuff. Mr. Cooper looking good. We'll talk about on the week ahead commentary with members, we'll talk about a catalyst that will send the shares higher. And you need to have that catalyst. You need to know why, okay? Is it a short squeeze? Is it a yield? Is it the price to earnings ratio? We'll talk about it tomorrow. Roku. I spoke about Roku last week on best stock charts. I said we like it as a short. What happened last week? It broke down to new lower lows. Why? Because the prior week we flashed a bearish key reversal. And we got a continuation breakdown last week. So we'll continue to watch it. On Friday, we flashed an outside reversal day. Roku looks like it wants to go lower. The next chart up is MGE Energy. We spoke about this one a few weeks ago. I like it for all the same reasons. This is just a weekly chart. We are in a trading range. We are flirting with a breakout. We're not there yet. Patience. No reason to go buying just yet. We're looking for the breakout on a weekly basis. Volume to the downside last week was very light, so nothing to worry about here. The consolidation is still strong. Members will talk more about it tomorrow on the week ahead commentary. STR Capital, weekly chart. Another one. We spoke about this one last week. We remain in the trading range. We retested the lower band of support last week, and it held. It's always a good thing for us to come back and retest support levels, okay? Remember, traders are OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. I know, I have it, okay? It's all good. You want to touch support. You want to make sure that what was resistance is now support. I still like these shares. I think they're moving higher, and the daily chart is looking outstanding. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the week ahead commentary with members. Permian Basin Realty, another one. I said I really like this setup. I mentioned RSI was flattening out. Not only is it flattening out, we are now hooking up on PBT. We also broke out last week out of this beautiful consolidation. The question is the daily chart sending us a buy signal? We'll talk about that tomorrow on the week ahead commentary. I am concerned about Ultimate Oscillator. It is rolling over, putting in lower highs and lower lows. That's a bit of a concern, with volume last week being below average. You like to see it above average on a breakout. So members, more tomorrow on the week ahead commentary. Ventus, this is a monthly chart. So far this month, we are down on the month, but I'll tell you, the daily chart is looking really good. I like this setup. We are retesting the lower band of support, which is great stuff. Ultimate Oscillator, higher lows and higher highs. And I'm loving the daily chart. So members, more to come tomorrow on the week ahead commentary. AutoNation, weekly chart. Now here's one. I said when I first started speaking about AutoNation weeks ago, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I could either get bullish or bearish on it. At that point in time, when I was first talking about AutoNation, I was bearish on it because we were retesting prior support and it actually failed to hold. Yet the next week we gapped up. And I said, listen, this could either be a W formation or we could break to new lower lows. As it's turning out, it appears as though we are breaking out and we may attempt to take out the prior high at 39.71. So AutoNation is actually looking pretty bullish. I mean, it was up 4.25% last week alone. So a very, very nice week last week for AutoNation. And I like the setup here. The only concern I have is that we're putting in sequentially declining weekly up volume bars. That's a concern. So we may talk about this one a bit more tomorrow on the week ahead commentary. And that's it for this week, folks. Don't forget, download, click that link above or in the description area, download your free PDF copy. Please give a like to my channel, leave a comment below, subscribe, click that notification bell, and everybody have a profitable trading week. Members, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Be well.